I have here a crosstab I've set up that investigates the relationship between race and party identification, controlling for South and non-South. The hypothesis is that in a comparison of individuals, African Americans are more likely to be Democrats than are whites, which is of course a slam dunk of a hypothesis. But it's an open question whether the racial divide is wider in the South or not in the non-South. So here's the setup. I've already clicked cells and asked for column percents. We're going to go to statistics, and as always, get chi-square. It's very versatile. Can't go to ordinals anymore. Let's go over here to nominal. Look at all the choices. We're going to pick phi and Kramer's v. Continue. Okay. And here's the typical SPSS enormous table. Here are all the non-Southern respondents up here. All the Southern respondents are down here. Let's just focus on the percentage of Democrats. In the non-South, 29.5% of white respondents are Democrats, compared to 71.1% of African American respondents. That's on the order of a 40 percentage point difference in Democratic identification. As large as that gap is, look at the relationship in the South. Among whites, only 18% are Democratic identifiers, compared with almost 77% of blacks. The percentage of African Americans who are Democrats is somewhat higher in the South than in the non-South. It goes up by about 6 points or so, but it's substantially lower among whites. This creates in the South an enormous racial divide and partisanship, roughly 60 percentage points or so. So one could look at these percentages and see very large differences, probably going to trump the null hypothesis almost certainly. And also, we can also see that there's interaction going on. Why? Because the strength of the relationship is different in one value across values of the control variable. It's stronger in the South than in the non-South. Let's see if the statistics bear out both significance and our interaction interpretation. Here's a chi-square test. Notice now SPSS has returned a separate chi-square for each set of relationships. Here's the non-South. Pearson chi-square is enormous, 241.921. Of course, the significance value, the p-value is 0.000, under the assumption that the null hypothesis is correct and that these data just were created by random processes. We would get this sort of relationship 0% of the time by chance, so reject the null hypothesis. Same down here in the South, a large value of the chi-square test statistic and a corresponding minuscule p-value. So in both regions, we would reject the null hypothesis. We can see when we use Kramer's v, here is the value of Kramer's v for the non-South, 0.270, and for the South, 0.555. Now, Kramer's v does not have a PRE interpretation. It's not like Somers D and some of the other measures. However, it does vary between 0 and 1, so it's particularly useful for control comparisons like this. We could report that yes, the relationship is moderate to strong in the non-South and quite strong in the South, as fits our interaction interpretation of the data.